Catch the latest news on our website tribune.net.ph and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. The Daily Tribune is one with the nation in facing the COVID-19 crisis, and in line with this, the Daily Tribune digital edition and press reader is now available for free online. You can also download the Daily Tribune app on Apple Store for iOS users and Google Play for Android users to get the latest and most comprehensive news online. Daily Tribune is also inviting everyone to join its community Viber KaTribu to get updates on the freshest and hottest news and entertainment stories of the day. Tarcito emoticons are also available on our community Viber. Just click on the link in this video to join.
Welcome po sa Kalingang KaTribu, mga katribu. Ngayon, pag-uusapan po natin ang kagandahan. Pero may connection ba ang kagandahan sa kalusugan o di kaya sa wellness? Let's welcome our special guest today, who's an expert in putting together and finding the connection between wellness, health, and beauty. Dr. Kyla Talens, owner of Skin Philosophy. Hi, Dr. Kyla.
Hi, Ms. Cory. Thank you for having me. Magandang hapon, mga katribu. I'm very honored to be here today.
Yan, Dr. Kyla. Siguro maraming nagtatanong, connection ba talaga ang kalusugan sa ating kagandahan?
Definitely, because the skin is the largest organ in our body. So lahat po ng ginagawa natin, yung lifestyle po natin, such as diet, exercise, sleep, our habits, our environmental exposure to chemicals, they all affect not just our overall health, but also our skin.
Okay, so definitely, non-negotiable, non-debatable, may connection ang kalusugan sa kagandahan dahil sa ating pinakamalaking organ sa buong katawan, which is our skin.
Definitely.
Now, being a dermatologist, and now you are also you're taking up nutritional,
functional medicine,
lifestyle medicine, functional medicine.
Yes.
So, from your point of view, how do we take care of our skin?
Well, we have to address several lifestyle factors. For example, nowadays, our primary concern is, of course, the prevention of the spread of COVID. However, because of certain habits, we get certain skin conditions. The most common concern that I encounter right now is maskne or acne due to masks. Have you heard of that?
Right. You know, the other day, meron ako nakitang nurse, male nurse, pinakita niya sa akin yung kanyang mga butlig-butlig dito. Sabi niya, Mama, ano to? Mukhang allergy.
Mhm.
Bakit kaya? Sabi ko, bakit dahil sa mask? Because they never remove the mask anymore or hardly remove it.
Mhm. We have to distinguish maskne from acne vulgaris, the more common type of acne, because maskne or acne mechanica, that's actually the more technical term, is a condition it's a condition that aggravates pre-existing acne, or it can also trigger acne in somebody who doesn't have a pre-existing acne. So if it's maskne, of course, we have to wear masks. Hindi naman natin pwedeng sabihin sa ating mga katribo na hindi na sila magsusuot ng mask because we need to prevent the transmission of COVID, as I said earlier. But there are ways in order to mitigate or decrease the effects of mask on our skin. Like for example, I think this is very basic. Syempre, if you're wearing masks every day, lalong-lalo na po sa ating mga frontliners, it's very important that they wash their masks every day. Kasi kung hindi siya disposable, parang nakakadiri naman with all the dirt, oil, and sweat that's already in the mask. If we don't wash them, syempre, isusuot mo ulit yon, di magkakaroon lalo ng acne, diba? So,
Pero the thing is, kung washable ang face mask natin, di ba?
yes, if it's disposable, we have to use fresh ones every day, of course. Another way to mitigate the effects of the friction and the pressure on our face is to apply moisturizers. That will decrease the friction on our skin. And it's also important to make sure that our masks are fit. I mean, they do fit our face as well, but not too tight. Kasi what happens is our skin normally sloughs off on a daily basis. So if your mask constantly exerts pressure on the skin, the dead skin cells that are trying to slough off are getting pushed down, so they tend to block our pores. So together with oil, bacteria, these exfoliating dead skin, yes, sweat, like our pores become blocked. So when our pores get blocked, the oil that's normally produced by our oil glands get trapped, and we form blackheads and whiteheads, and then with inflammation, they turn into cystic pimples.
So, anong kailangan gawin ng isang tao tulad ng isang frontliner na palaging nakasuot ang kanyang face mask? At tayo rin, para sa ating din lahat. What should we do or not do or be more aware of?
Aside from the tips that I already mentioned, they can resort to topical preparations. Like to decrease the bacterial load on our skin, we can apply products containing benzoyl peroxide. I'm not going to mention any brands here, but just look for that ingredient.
Dr. Kyla?
Sorry?
Ito na merong ingredient na?
Benzoyl peroxide.
Benzoyl?
Peroxide.
Peroxide.
Yes.
So, the product doesn't have that ingredient, benzoyl peroxide, wala kang protection.
There are several products actually that we can use. Benzoyl peroxide is just one of them. I like giving patients benzoyl peroxide because it's antibacterial, and it also prevents the accumulation of dead skin cells. I told you earlier that dead skin cells that don't normally exfoliate tend to block our pores, so the oil gets trapped inside. That's why we form blackheads and whiteheads. Now, if we're going to use a product that prevents the buildup of dead skin cells, then at least we're decreasing the chances of forming dead skin cell plugs in our pores or hair follicles. And benzoyl peroxide also has antibacterial properties. That's why I like giving it. If they can't find a product that contains benzoyl peroxide, a product that contains salicylic acid or glycolic acid would also be helpful because these cause micro-exfoliation. But sa ating mga katribu po, tandaan lang natin na kailangan maingat tayo sa paggagamit din ng mga products na may benzoyl peroxide, glycolic acid, and salicylic acid Because if we overzealously use them, ninipis naman yung balat natin at magkakaroon ng irritation. Ayaw naman natin mangyari yon, di ba? And if we're wearing masks every day, manipis yung skin or nagiging nagbabalat or irritated, pag na-rub pa siya ng mask, lalong lalala pa yung skin condition.
Oo. At ano naman ang epekto ng carbon dioxide na binubuga natin sa mask tapos bumabalik sa atin? May epekto ba yan sa ating balat?
Well, dirt in general can also contribute to plugging of our pores or hair follicle. So the main causes of acne are bacteria, inflammation, overproduction of oil, and the accumulation of dead skin cells. However, anything that tends to contribute to the blocking of the pores, such as sweat, mechanical occlusion like with a mask or touching the face, or dirt, can also contribute to clogging of the hair follicles. So we become more prone to acne when that happens.
Okay, so kadalasan ng mga taong gumagamit ng, kadalasan, di ba? This is not an isolated case. A lot of people are complaining about the effect of wearing face masks on the skin every day for too long a period of time. So what should they do as a preventive? Apart from using these products, let's say a daily regimen that they can do. Let's say,
Alright.
umaga, anong dapat natin gawin?
So for our frontliners, for example, that they have to wear masks for prolonged hours, maybe they can take breaks every 4 hours for 15 minutes, but they have to make sure that whenever they take off their masks, it's done in an open area, for example, where they're isolated, or they can do it like for those who live near the hospital, maybe they can take off the mask in their condos. And yun nga, it's advisable that they change masks every 4 hours if they're using disposable masks, or if they're using cotton masks. Of course, they cannot wash the masks during their lunch breaks or dinner breaks. Then maybe they can buy several cotton masks that they can rotate. And it's very important that if they're using cotton washable masks, it's very important to use detergents that are fragrance-free and detergents that are not very strong. Because if the chemicals in detergents end up irritating the skin, then it will take longer for acne to heal kasi there's more irritation, more inflammation.
Dapat I've been wondering about yung medical grade face mask, di ba? Sabi daw nila yung kulay blue ay dapat nasa labas. Eh, yung puti dapat nasa loob, mas malapit sa mukha. I asked the nurse who had a breakout, why is your mask being worn in the reverse? Baliktad. Sabi ko, hindi ba dapat yung blue nasa labas? Sabi niya, opo ma'am, pero pag ang blue ang mas malapit, pag ang blue ay ang puti ay mas pag malapit ang blue sa aking balat, lalong nagbe-break out ako. So my question is, ano kaya ang nilalaman nitong face mask? Is it mixed with some kind of chemical or preservative? We don't know.
Well, we have to distinguish a breakout from what we call contact dermatitis. Kasi contact dermatitis is basically a skin rash that's due to the skin's contact with a certain ingredient or a certain component of whatever material. So, for example, those who wear N95s na lang, there are rubber bands, right? So there are people who are allergic to the rubber parts. So these parts that touch the rubber parts that touch the skin tend to leave behind rashes. So yun nga, we have marks and rashes. Yeah. Yeah. So
isang araw, sabi ko, bakit may marka ako dito?
So yun nga, rubber is just one common allergen. In the cases of eczema or contact dermatitis, marami pa pong iba like parabens, like there are some masks that, the washable masks, some of them contain formaldehyde. So when we wash them and we wear them, like the formaldehyde also gets to our skin. So that can also potentially cause dermatitis. So we have to be very careful with the products that we use. I mean, if for example, a certain mask causes skin rashes on you, then look for another brand that doesn't give you the same reaction. For acne, for Mask Me naman or Acne Mechanica, I cannot. Maybe we can continue after the break. Would you like?
Kasi tama, no? Pero sige,
Yeah.
Kyla, we can finish this.
All right. So, what was I saying? With we cannot afford to not wear masks. So our only option is to exercise the tips that I just mentioned. You know, exercising cleanliness, mask hygiene, basically. But for acne vulgaris, the more common type of acne, then that's a time that we address the lifestyle factors. So maybe we can discuss that after the break.
Yes, oo, mamaya. Pero mamaya, yan, may itatanong ko nga si Doktora Kyla. Ano kaya kung pwede tayong gumamit ng mga natural na produkto o mga natural na substances tulad ng baking soda para matanggal yung oiliness, or we can put aloe vera para hindi masyadong maging maselang ang kutis. Things like that. So, pagbalik po namin, sa aming pagbabalik, pag-uusapan po natin ang mga natural na regimen na pwede nating gawin pang araw-araw. Huwag po kayong aalis, mga katribo.
Magsha-shopping na lang ako!
#143SM. Call to deliver.
Hello, can I get the following? One pink chair, bed sheets, na pink yung sofa, tapos slides, size 8, pajamas na blue. Oh, don't forget my...
#143SM. Call to deliver.
Wait lang, okay ba yan?
Anything at the SM store, ma'am.
Call to deliver. Call.
Kuya, pwede rin ba ako magpa-deliver sa ate ko sa Taguig, tapos sa friend ko sa Davao, tsaka sa... Cancel ko sa Lipa. Okay ba yan?
Kahit saan po, pwede kami mag-deliver.
Call to deliver. Call. #143SM. Call to deliver. #143SM. Call to deliver. Call. #143SM. #143SM. Call to deliver.
Call na rin kayo.
Call to deliver.
This is a very important story. The important story.
Pictures and stories.
Today, we feel the weight of history on our shoulders.
The way we have been moving leads nowhere. We need to change course.
Since the United Nations was founded, the human race has never had to face a set of challenges like we do right now. But together, we can overcome them.
Welcome back, mga katribo. Ang special guest po natin ay si Dr. Kyla Talens ng Skin Philosophy. Siyempre, ang unang-unang iniisip po natin ay protektahan ng ating katawan, ang ating kalusugan laban sa COVID-19, laban sa coronavirus. Pero siyempre, ganun pa man, huwag natin din kalilimutan ang ating kagandahan, or at least ang ating natural appeal na kailangan pangalagaan po natin. Yan, Dr. Kyla, let's talk about the little things we can do every day to keep our skin moist and healthy.
Well, for example, when we're dealing with maskne, since we're on that topic, I mentioned earlier that we need to moisturize. So it would help if we find a moisturizer that contains ceramides or hyaluronic acid. Now, it's important to apply these before and after wearing masks. But of course, after taking off the mask, we have to wash our face with a fragrance-free, hypoallergenic, non-comedogenic cleanser. And it's a myth that we need to wash our face as often as possible because we have to limit washings to once to twice a day. Kasi, this is the irony. If, for example, we overwash our face, our body perceives that our skin is too dry. That's why it will overcompensate by producing more oil. So we have to limit washing to once to twice a day. And yan nga, it's very important to use a hypoallergenic, non-comedogenic, fragrance-free cleanser. When it comes to moisturizers, it's also important that we stay away from fragrances because that may contribute to more irritation. If we're dealing with acne mechanica, kumbaga, I've already given our KaTribu these tips, pero kunyari, they're still breaking out. Then they may want to address lifestyle factors because acne is oftentimes influenced by diet, lack of sleep, and stress. So we can talk about these one by one. When it comes to diet, we have to avoid sugar because this promotes inflammation, and sugar can also contribute to what we call insulin resistance, because when we have high levels, persistently high levels of blood sugar in our systems, our bodies produce more insulin. If our bodies have constantly high insulin levels, we may develop what we call insulin resistance. And insulin resistance can trigger a condition called Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome. I see a lot of acne patients with Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome, and PCOS is rooted actually in insulin resistance. So the root of insulin resistance is persistently elevated sugar levels. So
Pero yung
aside,
sugar, Kyla, may connection din ng sugar sa a very high carbohydrate diet, di ba?
yes, because any excess carbohydrate that's not converted, that's not used up, will be converted to sugar. That's why it's also important to go for food with lower glycemic indices. And that's just one factor. Kasi what happens in PCOS is that our hormones get deranged, and the male hormone testosterone, when it's elevated, that's a common laboratory finding in PCOS. The testosterone stimulates our oil glands to produce more oil. Diba, when we undergo facials, may nakakadiring yellow thing na lumalabas. So that yellow thing is the comedone that's composed of lipids. It basically comes from our oil glands. So if we control our diet, we can help reduce the overproduction of oil. Stress is another cause of acne, because when we're stressed, we produce high levels of cortisol, and cortisol promotes inflammation. That's why, for example, students, when they're about to take exams, diba, they tend to break out. So, actually, I really encourage. Yes, I really encourage mindfulness. Yes, puyat, definitely. Pag di tayo natutulog, nagkakaroon din ng changes sa ating hormones. That's why I highly encourage people to practice mindfulness and to exercise meditation, because this is not a religious thing. You know, like when I prescribe meditation, people think na I'm promoting some religion. I'm not. It has scientifically proven benefits, because when we meditate, our stress levels decrease and our stress hormones also decrease. So it's not just for our skin. Actually, a lot of diseases are rooted in high stress levels, persistent high stress levels. So by meditating, by decreasing our stress levels, we can normalize our hormones faster. So,
Kaya KaTribu, sabi ni Dr. Kyla, kailangan mag-unstressing exercise. So ito ang pinakamadaling exercise regimen na pwede nating gawin. Do mindful breathing. Ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng mindful breathing? All you have to do is follow me. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, isang malalim na inhale, but do a count of 5. 5, okay? So inhale, hold your breath for 3 counts. And then release 5 counts. 5 ulit. And repeat. Kung pwede, you can close your eyes. But yung mga experts, pwede na with open eye meditation. But if you can do this even 5 minutes every day, and then build up to 10 minutes, and then 15. The ideal is 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes before sleeping. Yun lamang po, mindful breathing. If you do that and close your eyes and just think of nothing, syempre parang imposible, think of nothing. That's the hardest and most challenging thing to do, to monitor, regulate, and control the mind. So if we can find a position or a level of no mind, no more thoughts, just completely blanco, yung talagang you are at peace. Yan ang tinatawag nilang you are in complete serenity or bliss. When you hit that moment or that level, kahit na 1 or 2 seconds lang, napakabisa po ang epekto sa ating katawan. Yan. Napakasimpleng unstressing exercise. Okay. Dr. Kyla, continue please.
Okay, I totally agree. These little steps may seem trivial, meditating, avoiding sugar, sleeping at the right time and for a certain number of hours. But I see a lot of improvement in my patients who actually follow my lifestyle advice versus those who see me almost every day. Well, not almost every day, but every week, but they don't do anything to change their lifestyle. It's better to rely on procedures for quick fixes. But for long-term management, we really need to address our lifestyle.
What about exercise? And we need to sweat, right? Kailangan talagang pawisan tayo.
Well, whenever we sweat, we actually contribute to detoxification. But we also have to be mindful of our levels of intensity because too much exercise, if we push ourselves too hard sometimes, we can also trigger increased levels of cortisol. So there has to be just a balance when it comes to exercising.
So, would you recommend 20 to 25 minutes a day?
Yeah, actually,
Pwede, no?
Actually, HIIT has a lot of merit. So there are lots of videos on HIIT, high intensity interval training. Like during the convention, the functional medicine convention that I attended last year, and they were highly recommending HIIT rather than prolonged
Short.
Yeah, it's like bursts instead of like marathons
7 minutes
or long. Yeah, so HIIT. There are lots of YouTube videos on that.
Oh, yes, there's a new way of exercising now. Short but quick bursts of energy, and then relax. Tapos again. That's also good for the heart.
Whenever we give lifestyle interventions, it's not just for the skin, but it's for our overall health. But I think it's a good motivation for those who want to remain beautiful. Because sometimes if you give advice without trying to understand the motivations, the person's motivations, then it's hard to change the habits. That's why we always have to focus on the whys. Do you want to be beautiful, or do you want to be healthy for your family? Sorry, I lost you there. Hello?
Best anti-aging advice.
Yes, lifestyle interventions.
lifestyle intervention. Pag anti-aging, syempre,
Yes.
we cannot aging, but we can delay the aging process. In that way, we are fighting it in our own simple regimens every day. Ito na, mga katribo, Netizens Corner after this break. Huwag po kayong aalis.
Click, click, that's it. Never thought self-service can be this slick. Modify plans in a snap, walang hirap, it's a wrap. Just tap the app. Now you can check, view, subscribe, renew. Help and support for you. Out with the Ring Ring apps or the in thing, you know what to do. Globe at home and Globe One, all in the Globe app na yan. Self-service and easy to use, mas okay tayo dyan. Globe at home and Globe One, all in the Globe app na yan. Instant response, no hold time pa, wala nang hintayan. Download Globe at Home and Globe One app, all in the Globe app na yan.
Download the Globe One and Globe at Home apps from Google Play Store and Apple App Store now.
Download Globe at Home and Globe One app, all in the Globe app na yan.
Bilang bagong mag-asawa, sabay kaming natututo sa buhay.
Sabay rin namin inaaral ng mga bayarin sa bahay.
Kahit kami, nagtaka sa biglang laki ng electricity bill namin. Huwag pong mangambang maputulan. Sinisigurado ng Meralco na walang disconnection hanggang September.
Estimated bills lang ang natanggap natin ng March, April at para sa ilan, May. Dahil sa lockdown, isang tabi to para hindi na maguluhan.
Ang May o June ay actual meter reading na. Kung May, nagka-actual reading, ibabawas dito ang huling reading bago mag-ECQ. Yan lang po ang ating babayaran hanggang 3 buwang konsumo.
Kung estimated reading sa May at June nagka-actual reading, ibabawas din dito ang huling reading bago mag-ECQ. Yan lang po ang ating babayaran. Hanggang 4 na buwang konsumo, walang labis. Tandaan, kung ano lang na konsumo,
yun lang ang babayaran.
ako po si Mateo G.
At ako naman po si Sarah G.
G?
G!
Viber is the free and secure way to connect with friends and family, anywhere. Send messages and make phone and video calls for free. Download Viber now.
Ang Philippine Offshore Gaming Operators o POGO ay isang legitimate business entity na nagbibigay serbisyo sa offshore gaming para lamang sa mga manlalarong nasa abroad sa pamamagitan ng internet. Ang mga serbisyong handog nito ay katulad ng casino games at sports betting na pwedeng laruin kahit wala sa casino. Sa Pilipinas, walang POGO operators. Tanging POGO service providers lamang dahil nagaganap ang mga laro sa labas ng bansa.
We're back, mga katribo, para sa Kalingang KaTribu. Before our Netizens Corner, well, it's happening already as we speak. Dr. Kyla, please continue with your explanation.
All right. Off the air, we were talking about hand eczema. So is that what you're asking about? Hello?
Yes, because too much alcohol, too much washing, hand washing, and too much alcohol.
So hand hygiene is still our priority. Just because we're having dry hands, just because we're having rashes, for example, doesn't mean that we have to stop washing our hands and we have to stop sanitizing our hands. But we just have to be more careful. Like, for example, we can choose soaps that are less irritating. So sometimes we have to try different products first until we find one that actually suits us. It's also a health recommendation that we use disinfectants that contain 60% ethyl alcohol or 70% isopropyl alcohol, especially for frontliners. Like, we cannot do away with that. What we can do na lang is to ensure that we moisturize our hands after washing. And it's also important na, for example, for those who work in hospitals or clinics, it's also important to dry our hands before wearing gloves. And instead of rubbing our hands too hard, we can just pat it dry or we can just let it air dry. And syempre, to prevent the transmission of COVID, it's better to use disposable paper towels rather than shared cotton towels.
Share.
And then for those who have allergies naman to rubber gloves, they can switch to products that or gloves that don't contain latex. And for those who have really scaly hands to the point that they're already a bit mahapde, at that time, they can apply thick moisturizers and then they can wear cotton gloves overnight to provide occlusion so that the hands will be moisturized better.
Ayan. So, kailangan ba talaga meron tayong moisturizer after hand washing? We should put that moisturizer also.
Definitely, because every time we wash our hands, we strip our skin away of certain lipids. So our skin actually is a very protective organ because it protects our bodies from foreign invaders like microorganisms, harmful microorganisms. So by applying thick moisturizers, we are creating a film on top of the skin so that we are more protected. Because if we destroy the normal skin barrier, then we are more prone to other skin infections naman, like fungal infections, other bacterial infections. Parang hugas na tayo ng hugas ng kamay, dami naman nating sugat, papasukin din yung katawan natin ng microorganisms. Yes.
Ang ginagamit ko, siyempre, malitang budget para sa mga walang budget na konting-konting budget lang. Virgin coconut oil, yun lamang po.
Yeah, mineral
na produkto.
Yes, I mean, syempre we have to be practical because of COVID. A lot of people have lost their businesses or are not earning quite well. So VCO is good, mineral oil, and as long as
baby oil, pwede na, no?
As long as the moisturizer, for example, is hypoallergenic, fragrance-free, and it does a good job at moisturizing the skin. We don't have to prescribe the high-end ones.
Ito, yung mga nanonood ngayon, hello to all the watchers, all our viewers. Nash Roque, Nash Roque, Loyalty Award na. Dina Ventura, Donna Policar, Ren Sanchez, Gladys Ablon. Hello! Thanks for watching. May tanong si Nash Roque. Miss Corey, you used to demonstrate sugar mixed with virgin coconut oil for exfoliation. Natural, di ba? Yes. Okay. Due to public demand. Ay, public demand yan eh. I will do natural skin regimens next week. Abangan. Na tinatawag kong kitchen remedies, kitchen beauty remedies. Netizens Corner. First question from Arlene Florentino. What are the contraindications of hyaluronic acid on the skin?
Well, any product naman can potentially cause like a reaction. So, hyaluronic acid allergy is not so common, but if, for example, you buy a product that contains hyaluronic acid and you react to that, then maybe you can switch to another brand. Or maybe it's not the hyaluronic acid in the product, maybe it's the other ingredient. So nowadays, like with so many options out there in the market, sometimes we have to do trial and error. Like we have to observe which ones cause reactions. And yun nga, it's very difficult sometimes to pinpoint which ingredient actually causes a reaction. Sometimes we can do patch testing for that, pero another cost na naman yon. So, like, if you find a good brand, just stick with that.
Okay. Mula kay Melanie ng Marikina, ano-ano po ang mainam at effective na gamitin na gamot para sa super acne?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, lifestyle advice is the best treatment. because without addressing the hormones and without addressing like the habits that trigger, for example, acne mechanica, if we cannot mitigate like the effects of pressure on our face by using moisturizers or by like constantly washing our masks and taking breaks, yun nga yung every 4 hours, tanggalin yung mask, nandyan pa rin yung acne, you have to look into lifestyle factors, stress, diet,
So, kailangan
sleep.
makakonsulta muna.
Yes.
Alam ko na may mga produkto na mataas sa vitamin A na makakatulong sa acne problems. Totoo ba yun, Dr. Kyla?
Like retinol and retinoic acid or tretinoin are vitamin A-based products. These are very good for acne because they also address the buildup of dead skin cells that tend to block the pores, but they have to be used with caution. Those who already have maskne or acne mechanica have to be very careful kasi especially if you've never used any retinol or retinoic acid in the past, in the first few weeks, you can have some irritation. So if your skin is irritated, tapos you're wearing masks pa, so parang reserve that for another time when there's no friction on your face. Pero if you're already a user of retinoic acid or retinol for quite a long time, just make sure that you apply only a thin film and maybe you space them out if you're always wearing tight-fitting masks. Kasi yun nga, if manipis na yung skin or irritated yung skin, tapos marub pa siya, it will aggravate the situation. So be careful with vitamin A products.
Pero ayun, yung supplementation ng vitamin C at saka zinc makakatulong rin. At saka panlaban niya sa karamdaman.
Definitely. So we have to have a well-balanced diet, not just for our skin, but for our overall health. You know, we have to fight COVID.
So naman, mula kay Myra ng Malabon, ano-ano po ang mga masamang na idudulot sa palagiang pagsuot or gamit? Ay, pinag-usapan na yun, Myra. Pero sige, just to summarize, meron talagang epekto yung face mask sa ating balat. Dr. Kyla.
Again, I cannot overstress this. Kailangan pa rin natin magsuot ng masks and face shields. Hindi po pwedeng hindi. But to mitigate the effects of the pressure and friction on our skin, we have to ensure that we're not allergic to the ingredients or the components of the masks. We have to wear good fitting masks, not too tight. We have to make sure that our masks are always clean. Kung disposable, after 4 hours, palitan. If these are cotton masks, make sure that you wash them with hypoallergenic detergents. And if all else fails, then consider lifestyle factors.
And all else fails, see Dr. Kyla for consultation.
Yes. Yes, they can visit me at my clinic.
Bukas pa ba yung clinic nyo sa BGC?
Yes, we are still open and we are still in BGC, but we transferred to a smaller location. Kasi like we used to occupy an entire floor and we're not allowed to fill it at maximum capacity, so I had to downsize. But we're still in BGC.
Okay. So, contact numbers, Dr. Kyla, para sa mga gustong magpakonsulta.
All right. For those who would like to visit me or Dr. Christine at Skin Philosophy, they can call us at 0917-890-6800, or they can also message us through our Facebook page, Skin Philosophy by Dr. Kyla Talens.
Yan. Galing si Dr. Kyla. Napakagaan ng kamay niya. Wamweng of Cavite. Madami po akong skin tags sa social. Maraming nagbebenta sa social media. Maraming nagbebenta ng online pangtanggal daw ng skin tag like kasoy. Ano po bang remedy na pwedeng gawin at safe?
Well, I'm not trying to discredit over-the-counter products for removing warts, but if you don't use it carefully, you can actually cause chemical burns. Oo, natanggal nga yung skin tag, but you may end up with a scar. So sometimes the scar treatment is even more expensive than the treatment for warts or skin tags. So I would still advise cautery for skin tags rather than chemical applications.
Cautery, no? Oo. From Boone of Antipolo, meron po akong nakakapa sa ulo ko na parang skin tag. Natatanggal ko ang skin na parang sobra pero hindi siya masakit. Minsan pag natanggal ko, meron dugo at lumabsa pero nawawala at naghihil naman. Ano pong pwedeng gawin?
Well, I cannot make a spot diagnosis based on that. So they have to visit us.
Oo nga, pero di ba bawal to self-treat?
Yes, it's advisable not to self-treat, especially for something that already involves, bleeding, and we have to check what that is.
Boon, ingat lang. Ito, ayi ng imus. Palagi akong nagkakaroon ng pimple sa face, lalo na sa pisngi, noo at ilong. Pero nawawala naman. Anong prevention at pwedeng gamitin na gamot para mawala ng totally at hindi na bumalik? Siguro isang sabon na makakatanggal nitong mga butlig. Siguro sinasabi niya, pag butlig, ano yan? Whitehead or blackhead?
Butlig can mean a lot of things. So probably, if we're talking about acne, then probably whiteheads. Tulad nga ng nasabi ko po earlier, like they have to look for products that contain benzoyl peroxide or salicylic acid or glycolic acid. These products come in washes or in solution forms. So these can help, but I'm not saying that these will get rid of acne permanently.
Sige, Ahi, maghahanap ako ng sabon na makakatulong sa inyo.
Walang magic cure for acne na sabon-sabon.
Regimen na pwedeng gamitin. One for acne prone, one for oily skin, yung mga ganun. Di ba, Dr. Kyla? Gumawa naman tayo para sa kanila. Sige, ayan, challenge sa akin yan. Bex ng Pasay, ano po bang safe na mask na gamitin? Cloth, medical, or other type of mask? Nagkakaroon pa rin ako ng rashes. O, di ba? It's really commonplace. Anong pwedeng gamitin para sa sensitive skin? Sa totoo lang, sensitive din ang skin ko. I cannot wear the mask for too long. Kaya bihira akong lumalabas.
Yes. yun yung magandang solution actually. Social distancing. Don't go out.
Ang tanong niya, yung pinaka-safe or gentle na mask?
Okay. So, syempre, COVID prevention is our priority. So, hindi pwedeng lalabas ka nang wala kang mask. If you are to choose between getting COVID and getting acne, kumbaga lesser evil na yung getting acne, diba? But there are ways in order to lessen the effects of the mask, the adverse effects of the mask on your skin. So usually cotton, 100% cotton mask is a good option. Yun nga, just make sure lang that you always wash it and use detergents that are not harsh.
Okay, wala na po tayong oras. Dr. Kyla, thank you for sharing your afternoon with us.
Thank you also for having me.
Contact numbers ulit.
All right, you can reach us at 0917-890-6800 or via Facebook Messenger, Skin Philosophy by Dr. Kyla Talens. Thank you so much.
Libre ang
Well, it depends on the schedule. They have to contact us first. There are times that we do waive the consultation fee. Pero it depends on the case.
Kung talagang serious ang case. Okay, maraming salamat, Dr. Kyla. Last advice to our KaTribu.
Okay, aside from exercising, these precautions whenever we go to work or whenever we do our daily activities, always remember that lifestyle interventions are very important. We have to address our diet, our stress management, our exercise, our sleep, and other environmental factors.
Okay, marami pong salamat, Dr. Kyla Talens. Huwag natin kalilimutan mga katribu, due to your request, natural regimens, ayan, next week, dito po sa Kalingang KaTribu, ang aming part 2 for natural beauty. Marami pong salamat sa inyong lahat. Good afternoon and be safe, stay strong, be healthy. God bless you.
Catch the latest news on our website tribune.net.ph and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. The Daily Tribune is one with the nation in facing the COVID-19 crisis, and in line with this, the Daily Tribune digital edition and press reader is now available for free online. You can also download the Daily Tribune app on Apple Store for iOS users and Google Play for Android users to get the latest and most comprehensive news online. Daily Tribune is also inviting everyone to join its community Viber KaTribu to get updates on the freshest and hottest news and entertainment stories of the day. Tarcito emoticons are also available on our community Viber. Just click on the link in this video to join.
Ang Philippine Offshore Gaming Operators o POGO ay isang legitimate business entity na nagbibigay serbisyo sa offshore gaming para lamang sa mga manlalarong nasa abroad sa pamamagitan ng internet. Ang mga serbisyong handog nito ay katulad ng casino games at sports betting na pwedeng laruin kahit wala sa casino. Sa Pilipinas, walang POGO operators. Tanging POGO service providers lamang dahil nagaganap ang mga laro sa labas ng bansa.